Hello, everyone, and welcome to another comic review. This will be my second one, and I thought that a good one would be Darkseid VS Galactus: The Hunger. Now, I've had this one for quite a while, and I've read it more than once because it's definitely my favorite out of the Marvel DC crossovers, and I decided just to do a review on it. The story opens up with um, just kind of an origin of how New Genesis and Apocalypse came into being, and then it does a good job of doing that. I mean, I don't know much about the New Gods, but I do know what like an average person would know about it, and I don't even know what an average person would know about the New Gods, but bear with me. Um, and then after that, it goes to Light Ray going to New Genesis to warn the High Father that Galactus is coming. But, well, High Father knows there's not really anything they can do against Galactus, so they, they get kind of, they get a message from the source that says that they need to hide the world. And what they do is they just do exactly that. They hide the world, they kind of cloak it. And while they're going over that, it goes to Desaad or Desaid or however you pronounce him. Sorry, I don't know much about them, like I said before. And he's thinking that New Genesis is plotting an attack on them, so he wants to go tell Darkseid, but Darkseid is pretty much behind him. And, well, right when New Genesis decide, well, right when they hide New Genesis, Desaad thinks that they destroyed it, that they killed themselves, and he's all happy about it. But Darkseid tells him that that's not the case. And then they see the Silver Surfer arrive, and what happens there is that the he goes to Apocalypse and just surveys it. And Darkseid sends some parademons after him. And goes about as well as you would think. The parademons are annihilated by the Silver Surfer, but at least they're able to hold down the Silver Surfer for a little bit just by dogpiling on him until the Silver Surfer just sends the signal to Galactus that he found a new world for him. And then it cuts back to the High Father explaining, who Galactus is, and they give an origin story on that. And you also see a brief glimpse of the Watcher just observing how Galactus came into being. And then it goes to Galactus, and it's stated that Galactus is at, what Galactus says is that never in all the, never in his life really has his energy shrunk to, just shrunk so low. So it's obvious that he's definitely not at his strongest at this. He's probably at his weakest, or close to his weakest. And then Galactus heads to Apocalypse. And right when he arrives, Darkseid sends some ships at him. And of course they try their best taking Galactus down, but they're nothing to him, of course. I mean, Galactus is on a higher level than the New Gods. And as Galactus pretty much swats him away and starts building his machine. Darkseid decides to assault him a different way and is able to make some kind of giant golems out of Apocalypse. And they do stagger Galactus, and he even drops to one knee, but then the Silver Surfer comes in and helps him out. But even if the Silver Surfer wasn't there, Galactus probably could have fought them off on his own. But that's just me, because I'm a Marvel fanboy, so maybe he couldn't, maybe he could. I just say he could. And while that's going on, it cuts back to the Highfather again, and Orion's arguing with him because because they're hiding and they're not helping Darkseid against something that he can't defend against. And so Orion decides to fly off to Apocalypse to try to help out. And all he could do is just fight the Silver Surfer, and doesn't really do good for him. I mean, the Silver Surfer does say that Orion is a good fighter, but he's the Silver Surfer and he has the power cosmic. And for those of you who don't know what the power cosmic is, it's just it's literally a part of the universe, like the universe's power. And he just kind of swats Orion away, but then Orion comes back, of course. And the second time Orion assaults him, Silver Surfer feels that Orion reminds him of past memories. And keep in mind that this Silver Surfer wasn't exactly... Well, obviously he wasn't freed from Galactus's control at the time, and he doesn't know about his past. So then, as that goes on, Darkseid notices that the Silver Surfer doesn't know about his past. But of course Darkseid knows about it, and then they give origin story to the Silver Surfer. About Norrinrad on Zenla, Galactus coming to eat it, but Norrinrad sacrifices himself to become the Silver Surfer in order for Zenla to be spared. And yeah, that happens with that part. And Orion, of course, keeps coming back at him, but the Silver Surfer begins to get annoyed and just kind of finishes him off. And right when he's about to kill Orion, Darkseid comes up and straps something onto Silver Surfer's head, which I would think just releases his past memories, because that's what Darkseid was getting at. Because Darkseid feels that since Galactus erased the Silver Surfer's memories, that there must be, a really good reason why he did that. And while Silver Surfer is getting his memories back, the Black Racer comes to claim Orion, because Orion's Orion's about to die. But before the Black Racer can do anything, the Silver Surfer regains his memories and just tells the Black Racer to go away, and Orion is back to normal, I guess. And Galactus wonders why they bothered doing this with the Silver Surfer, and Darkseid says it's so they could turn him against him. And the Silver Surfer, of course, does go after Galactus for erasing his memories. But since the power cosmic is something Galactus controls, of course he could just take it back from the Surfer. And the Silver Surfer just falls to the ground. And Galactus says that even though Darkseid did that to him, it won't make any difference, because Galactus is gonna eat Apocalypse. But then Darkseid says that because Galactus did that to the Silver Surfer, means that Galactus has a weakness and wanted to spare the Silver Surfer the bitter pain of memory, and Darkseid unleashes the Omega effect on him. And alright, before I go on to that part, I always go to Comic Vine and I look up a lot of, what if fights. And one of the ones I would go to would be a Galactus versus Darkseid fight. And this story always comes up in the arguments, and they say the only reason Galactus survived the Omega effect was because of the source. But I don't know where they get that from, because I've looked over this a lot of times, and the only thing that had to deal with the source was the message they gave New Genesis. So I get real confused at that. But anyway, back to this. It doesn't do anything to Galactus. Galactus just swats Darkseid aside and restores the Silver Surfer. Of course, the Surfer doesn't have his memory again. And the Surfer goes back after Orion, but Orion decides that since the Silver Surfer saved his life, he shouldn't fight back until his debt is repaid. And then Orion flies off, and Darkseid blasts Silver Surfer in the back with the Omega beams. But right when he does that, Galactus says that the machine is done and that he's about to feast on Apocalypse. But then it ends up not working because there's no life in the planet itself. And Darkseid says that's either because the life that was in it is all a part of New Genesis when the two planets were born, or that the life has been consumed by the fire pits. And Galactus seems a little confused at this because Darkseid tried fighting him off a lot, and he wonders why he would do that if there's no life on the planet. And then Darkseid says that the reason he would do that is because it's his planet. And which is kind of the same thing Galactus is. Galactus only feeds on planets because he's a prisoner of his own nature, the same way Darkseid is. And then Darkseid just tells Galactus to leave since there's nothing there for him. And as they're leaving, Darkseid comes in and asks Darkseid why he didn't direct Galactus towards New Genesis, and of course Darkseid says that it's because that'll be his victory to have. So yeah, that's how the story ends, and I think it's a really good story. Of course, there's a few problems here and there, but no story's perfect to begin with. And like I said before, this is my favorite of the stories in the Marvel DC crossovers. And I really hope they do make more in the future. I would like some more on this scale. So, yeah. Sorry again that I didn't really have too much to say. I just need to get better at it. But anyway, there's the story, and I recommend checking it out if you can. So, have a nice day.